Good morning, hockey fans. It's 9 a.m. Eastern. This is the Junior Hockey Morning Show. My name is Steven Heisler. You guys all know that by now, probably. We are on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Today is Friday, January 9th, 2023. Are you used to saying 2023 yet? It feels like at 56 years old, it took me about half a year to get 2022 now. Too many twos. The 2023 makes it a little bit easier. Maybe. All right, today's a fantastic day. Why? Two things happened last night during the same time. There was no North American Hockey League games, so didn't have to watch any of those. I got a lot of games done. I watched some games from the tournament in, what town was that? Wesley Chapel, Florida, where we watched the Tampa Bay Juniors, the Florida Eels, Hampton Roads Whalers, Chicago Cougars, a lot of teams in town, the Spacemen from all over the country. That was kind of fun to watch. But last night, I got to enjoy the Toronto Maple Leafs winning 6-2 at Philadelphia, a double whammy. Leafs win and Torch loses. That's always going to be a good day. It's a great way to start the week. So let's get into what else happened yesterday and this week. USHL scores. No games on the schedule for today, but last night, Waterloo won at Tri-City 7-2, and Sioux City beat Sioux Falls 7-0. What is up with the road teams in the USHL? Road teams have been tearing it up lately. North American Hockey League, no games last night, no games today. In the NA3HL, they always play on Sunday, just not in June and July. St. Louis, holy cow, lost at Oregon 13-2. New Ulm beat Mason City 4-3. Mid-City Stars lost at Texas Roadrunners 6-1. Atlanta lost in overtime to the Texas Brahmas in North Richland Hills 2-1. El Paso beat Austin at home 3-0. Northeast Generals won at Danbury, shocker, 4-1. And the New Jersey Titans beat Bay State 3-2 at Bay State. Let's get into the North American Hockey League report for today. All right, I'm a little salty. It's going to happen on occasion. This is really the second NAHL report of the year. Did we do one last week? I think so. The league really got into a full slate of games this week. Lone Star Brahmas are still number one, despite ending a long winning streak with the loss at New Mexico Friday night. What about Danbury? Well, they didn't lose a game this weekend. That's good. It's been like a week since they lost a game. NAHL rankings. Let's go from the top to the bottom, because by the end of the show, you won't want to hear about the bottom. Our A teams, an A in our book is a winning percentage of 725 or better. There are 4 teams in that area this week. Lone Star, Oklahoma, Maryland, and Austin. Lone Star is 23, 3, 1-3, 833 win percentage. Dan Wildfunk's Brahmas bounced back from Friday's loss at New Mexico with a solid 3-1 win over the Ice Wolves on Saturday. Good news for Brahmas fans. El Paso comes to town this week. Remember Joe Coombs? He loves North Richland Hills. He loves the NITEC Sports Center. I'm sure it's going to be just a grand party and very competitive games this weekend. Okay, that's facetious. Brahmas will start a new winning streak, 3 games in a row by Sunday. Number 2, Oklahoma Warriors, 22-6-0-1, 776. We told you that Garrett Roth and the Warriors were looking forward to the roadie to Amarillo. Skating away with a nice 3-1 and 4-1 road sweep is always going to be sweet. The bus rolls to the swamp this week, and nobody is excited about that trip. Those mud bugs have been difficult as of late. Oklahoma, Don't go to Shreveport with a big head because you will get punctured. Shreveport's a mess right now. Don't go there thinking it's going to be easy because nothing coming out of the Mudbugs is going to be easy for the next, probably for the rest of the season. Number 3, Maryland Blackbirds are 24, 7-3-0, 750 record or win percentage. Clip Mylock's Bears looked a bit off balance while sweeping Maine at home. Let's hope the boys don't get too excited about this week's set of games at Danbury. Danbury hasn't won in a long time. Looking to get somebody. And Maryland has been playing kind of soft as of recently. They still have a pretty good lead over New Jersey in that division. New Jersey is coming up hot and heavy. But I think Jersey Titans are going to take the division. Maryland looks too soft right now. Milo Mock has to get those kids back in shape, and this last weekend sweep over Maine wasn't pretty. Number 4, Austin Bruins, 21-5, 3-4, 742 record, or win percentage. Steve Howard's Bruins picked up a huge home sweep of Aberdeen over the weekend, opening a 12-point lead in the Central Division. Look for another battle this week when Austin faces a pesky St. Cloud club in a home-and-home set. I think they have 2 weeks of home-and-home with St. Cloud. That's going to be a tough series. St. Cloud's kind of got a chip on their shoulder right now. Corey Millen's sitting out his suspension, but he's working hard behind the scenes, working hard during practice. I'm sure St. Cloud will be more than ready this weekend. Let's go to our B grade teams, and there's a pile of those this week. New Jersey, Minnesota, Fairbanks, Shreveport, and the Generals are all classified as B. B is a 600 winning percentage to 724. We got a tie for 5th place, or ranked number 5, with New Jersey and Minnesota. New Jersey is 20-11-1-1. Greg Dormus and the Titans are the hottest team in the NAHL right now with a 13-0-1-1 record in the last 15 games. New Jersey took care of business at home against Johnstown and will face an emerging Rebels group this weekend from Philadelphia. Going to be a good series, but I don't think Philly has a chance. Look for that streak to continue this weekend. Minnesota Wilderness are 19-10-1-3, 636 win percentage. Brett Skinner and the Wilderness let Kenai skate out of town with 3 points, something that may eventually turn around and bite them square in the butt later on. Minnesota will try to cool down the red hot Wendigo. Wendigo, that's a weird name, the Wendigo. Still can't get over it. It's been half a season. I can't figure it out yet. When they visit Wisconsin this week. Wilderness and Skinner have done a fantastic job this year. You have to like what he's been able to do. You have to like his ability to keep Dave Boyce out of the locker room, away from that team. Kyle Brody's here from Wenatchee. Kyle's a fantastic young coach. Like what he's doing. He's making a positive impact on his kids, and they changed the culture in Cloquet. Phenomenal. Very happy with what's going on with the Wilderness, aside from Dave Boyce still being there. Why is Dave Boyce still there? Because he's got pitchers. My opinion, please don't file a lawsuit against me. Number 7, Fairbanks Ice Dogs, 20-11-3-0. Dave Allison's Ice Dogs have picked up more road points, 29, than any team in the NAHL so far this season after the sweep at Springfield. The biggest issues for the Ice Dogs have been at home. They haven't won a home series, one meaning one, they played 2 games. They won both games. If they played 3 games, they won 2 out of 3. Haven't won a home series since winning 2 out of 3 against the Magicians last February 17-19. We're up on 11 months without winning a home series. That's unreal for Fairbanks. Kenai River looks to extend that streak this week when they visit the Big Dipper. All right, looky here. The Big Dipper was a mist about it. Teams went there and died. Teams went there and folded under pressure. But what's happened instead is teams go there and Fairbanks gets their best game because those players get excited about playing in front of a full house. mean, that place is stuffed to the gills. Maybe if Profit cut the attendance in half, the Ice Dogs have more of a chance. But now the pressure's on. Now those kids are feeling the pressure when they're playing at home. Obviously, they feel that pressure more at home than they do on the road. Fairbanks is more comfortable on the road than they are at home. That's got to change. Something's going on there, aside from they always get in the other opponent's best games. But Fairbanks has to win at home at some point. This is getting ridiculous. Shreveport Mudbugs. Bugs don't have a problem winning at home. Woo! That's a hot mess there. Jason Campbell and the Mudbugs continue to win the games they're supposed to win, and that includes this weekend home sweep of El Paso. Number 2, Oklahoma visits Georgia's Pound this weekend, giving Shreveport the chance to prove they are really back. Listen, I am watching that series this weekend. I guarantee you that. I'll watch both games end to end. That's going to be a monstrous set of games in Shreveport. Go Bugs. Or Goo Bugs. How do you say that in French? Guo. I don't know. Goo Bugs. I see that Go Tigers thing. That sounds kind of weird. All right. Number 9. You like crawfish? Tommy? Crawfish. You know what? That's a lot of work to get some meat that comes out the end of a toothpick. But those guys are crazy for that stuff. Excellent. Number 9, Northeast Generals, 19-11, 3-1, 618 win percentage. Brian Erickson's Generals squeaked by number 25 Philadelphia Friday before getting hammered by the Rebels 7-4 on Saturday. The Rebels visit the Generals January 19th and 20th. Brian, keep it up, buddy. Listen, number 19 in the league. I am not a believer in the Generals. Not a believer. Culture's weird. Matt Dibble. Oh, that is a definition of weird right there. Not a Matt Dibble fan. I won't get into the pictures we've been hearing about. Can't talk about that on the air. Might get sued again. What's the record for most lawsuits in 1 week we've had? Most lawsuits, threats. I think 3. We could set a new record this week. Don't do it all today because my wife is pretty happy. It's been a good day. Leafs won. Not today, Brian. C-class teams. We have Aberdeen, New Mexico, Kenai River, Maine, Minot, Janesville, Amarillo. Holy cow. Wisconsin, Chippewa, North Iowa, Anchorage, Odessa, and St. Cloud. That tells me we have an average league. A C for us is 475 to 599. Fair enough. Let's start with number 10. Aberdeen Wings, 17-11, 1-2, 597 win percentage. Listen, Scott Langer is anything but an average coach. But his Wings were swept at Austin. Can't change that. And they visit Minot this week. That's going to be a war as well. Listen, Scott Langer has done a phenomenal job with the Wings this year. Taking over for Steve Jennings. Steve Jennings is now the general manager in El Paso. Good luck with that, Steve. I've been to El Paso. I like El Paso. I used to be friends with the guy that owns El Paso. Steve Jennings, good luck. Hope you can stay in Boston and do that job. Scott Langer, I believe in you, buddy. I believe in the Wings. You guys will make a push. You're not an average team. Good luck with Minot this week. Cody Campbell's got a good squad there. Number 11, New Mexico Ice Wolves, 17-12, 1-1, 581 win percentage. Phil Fox and the Ice Wolves put a big stop to the Brahmas win streak Friday before dropping Saturday's contest 3-1. The Ice Wolves currently sit in 4th place and now find themselves as a primary target for 5th place Amarillo and 6th place Odessa. There is some good news. New Mexico gets to face 2 of the 3 worst teams in the NAHL this week. The Ice Wolves are in El Paso tomorrow night before the Ice Rays come to Albuquerque this weekend. Just because they're 2 out of the 3 bottom teams in the league, New Mexico lost to El Paso a few weeks back. Don't let the records fool you. These lower end teams can still come up and bite you in the booty. Don't get caught with your pants down. Number 12, Kenai River Brown Bears, 19-14, 1-1. Taylor Shaw's Brown Bears pulled 3 of a possible 4 points from the road series with Wilderness. Will Kenai River extend Fairbanks' woes at the Big Dipper this weekend? Taylor Shaw, I lost a lot of respect for you a few weeks back at Anchorage. I saw that gong show. And that was a gong show. You know, something happened this last week in the Kootenai League with the Nelson Leafs. Wasn't so much different than what happened in Anchorage a few weeks ago. But in Canada, that coach got fired. Go figure. Number 13, Maine Nordiques. Pinch's Nordiques were swept at Maryland and actually looked respectable in Saturday's 4-3 loss. The Nordiques are 16-12, 1-1, 567 win percentage. The Nords visit Johnstown this week. Look at, for a team that's 4 games over 500, a lot of those wins have come against teams that were struggling. And I don't see Maine being a serious contender. Look for them to do well at Johnstown this week. Mike Letizza's team is suffering a little bit, having a down year. Let's see what happens. But I think Johnstown takes the opportunity and makes a mess of Maine. Number 14, Minot Montoros. 18-14, 1-1, 559 win percentage. Cody Campbell's Toros picked up wins in 2 of the 3 home games against St. Cloud and are just a single point ahead of the Wings in second place in the division. Aberdeen visits Mesa Arena this weekend. Guess what series I'll be watching? That's going to be good hockey. Cody Campbell, the young coach, versus Scott Langer, the old coach. Scott Langer, old coach. Sorry, buddy. You're now a seasoned veteran. You're now a father with twins. That makes you old in a heartbeat. It's going to be a good series. I'll be watching that series as well this weekend. Number 15, Janesville Jets are 16-12, 3-4, 557 win percentage. This is going to be hard to say. I like Joe Dibble. I like Bill McCoshen. He won't talk to me anymore. But the Janesville has been average by Janesville standards. 4-4, 1-1 in the last 10 games. Look for that trend to break this weekend when they host Springfield. Listen, Janesville has all the tools. They should sweep Springfield. Is that going to happen? Should. But that should have been, could have been, would have been, doesn't translate to the ice very well for Janesville this year. They've been really just hogtied with mistakes that cost them to look as average as they look right now. But they have the tools. Second half of the season, they should go on a bit of a heater, win some games. Janesville could put together a string of 12, 15 games in a row. They'll look for that to be happening, something like that, before the end of the season. This is a good hockey team. They're very talented. They are younger. That's how Janesville does it. But let's see what happens second half of the season. I look for Janesville to make a move. Number 16, Amarillo, 15-12, 2-1. Amarillo. Oh my, that's time for a coffee break. This coffee break is sponsored by the North American Hockey League. Not really, but Alex Curious gave me this cup a couple years ago. It's pretty cool. It's falling apart. The whole bottom fell out of it. Come on, Alex. Get any more of those cups? Number 16, Amarillo Wranglers, 15-12, 2-1. Harry Mahood, Dirty Harry, have just 4 wins in the last 10 games after being swept at home by Oklahoma. I remember when going to the bullpen was a scary thing. I remember going to the bullpen and teams hated it. I remember Topeka and the visiting teams having to stay at the 4 Seasons Hotel or 3 Seasons Hotel, whatever it was. And it was a roach fest. It was a flop house for prostitutes, allegedly. Gross. Here we are. People are looking forward to going to Amarillo now. The team is soft, just soft. Odessa visits this week with every intention of getting max points. Let that sink in. Teams are no longer scared of going to Amarillo. The fans are fantastic. Amarillo has a great practice facility now. Amarillo has all the advantages you'd want to have a really monstrous hockey team. They got a weak coach. I don't care if Harry was coaching under Dennis Williams, who we saw win the World Juniors this last week. That's irrelevant. Harry's not Dennis. Harry kind of hung out under Dennis's wing for a number of years. He's not performing in Amarillo. Get Carlos in there. That's a coach. Not a Harry Mahood fan. Do you hear that every week? Same story. I don't like Dirty Harry. Oh, great. Guess what, Tommy? You got to turn that thing off because it's going to beep like crazy for the next 45 minutes. My blood sugar has elevated, so the alarm goes off. All that talking about Harry Mahood. Number 17, Wisconsin Wendigo are 16-3-1-1. Blake's Wendigo return to action when they host the division-leading Wilderness this weekend. With 8 wins in the last 10 games, the Wendigo are sure to have every team in the division's full attention. My question for Wisconsin is this. Are you guys really ready to come back? Are you really ready to hit the ice this weekend? And are you going to hit it with the same intensity it's been in the past? I think so. I think this coach has surprised everybody. This was the Magicians from last year. This guy has completely changed the culture, changed the name, moved to a new building. The town is excited about the level of play that they're playing, the type of hockey they're playing. Chris Hedlund, I thought you were a crappy general manager in Kenai River. Now I can blame all that on Nate Keel because you're having success here in Wisconsin. Maybe that was all Nate Keel's fault. Let's talk about it one day. Chris Hedlund on my show. That would be interesting. People will cry, especially Nate Keel. Nate Keel will probably do a temporary injunction saying Chris can't come in. We'll see how that works out. Over the summer, we'll have more of these guys talking to us, I think, if they're not scared. Are you scared? Number 18, Chippewa Steel, 17-14-1-1. Casey Young and the Steel split their weekend visit at Janesville and get the next week off before the home-and-home set with the Wilderness January 2021. Casey's hoping that he gets his Slovakian goalie back from Green Bay. I think that kid's gone, but that goalie did have a hard time a couple of days ago in their game. I think it was against Dubuque. So let's see what happens. If he gets that kid back, Chippewa's could be poised for a run for a championship season. But we'll see if he gets him back or not. Number 19, North Iowa Bulls, 16-14-2-0, .531 win percentage. Todd Sanders Bulls split the weekend home-and-home set with the Bobcats and visit the same team this weekend. Sorry. They played at home in North Iowa this last weekend, and they visit Bismarck this weekend. What can go wrong? Bismarck is just nasty at home. Not an easy team to play on home ice. I think Todd Sanders Bulls are in trouble. Number 20, Anchorage Wolverines. I'm a homer. Okay, I'm sorry. But this team is kind of frustrating me this year. 14-13, 5-1, .515 win percentage. Not really happy with their performance so far this year. They're back in Alaska with a break this weekend before hosting Kenai River January 2021. They've been on the road for a long time. They got a lot of games in Alaska to go. I think there's 4 more games outside of Alaska, and the rest are all in Anchorage or Fairbanks or Kenai. They like staying in Alaska. Let's see what happens. A ton of home games. Anchorage could make a run, but they got to figure out some issues. One issue is between the pipes. They're very inconsistent there. That's not really right. They're hoping they get their goalie back from last year. That may or may not happen. A lot of hopes and wishes. But so far, this team is fantastic everywhere else but between the pipes. Let's see what happens in the next few weeks. Number 21, Odessa Jackalopes are 14-14-0-0. Scott Dewar's Jacks are back to square one after a weekend road sweep at Corpus Christi. Listen, these guys get a tough next week and a half to go. In 9 days, they have 5 games, starting Friday in Amarillo. They have to get a jump on that series by doing something in Amarillo this weekend. They play Lone Star in the middle of the week. I think they go to Shreveport afterwards. That's going to be difficult for this group. They have a way of really being a strong road team, but that 5-game stretch in 9 days, they hope they have some extra bodies hanging around. Luckily, they do have extra bodies in the Roadrunners and Atlanta, but Scott Dewar hasn't used too many of those kids this year. He might be forced to in the next 2 weeks. Number 22, St. Cloud Norsemen are 13-14, 2-2. Corey Miller's Norsemen picked up 3 of a possible 6 points from their 3-game series at Minot. The next 4 games are all with division-leading Austin. Steve Howard knows better than to overlook the Norsemen. So the Norsemen will get the Bruins' best game, despite St. Cloud being number 22. Corey won't be on the bench. He's still sitting out that suspension. But we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks with this series. It's a big series for St. Cloud. If they hope to remain in playoff contention, they have to win at least 2 of these games, I think. Let's get down to the D grade teams. We got a number of those. The D graders are Johnstown, Bismarck, Philadelphia, El Paso, and Springfield. Number 23, Johnstown, 13-17, 2-0, 438 win percentage. Mike Latizzi and the Tomahawks were swept at New Jersey and now find themselves with just 4 wins in the last 10 games. If the Tomahawks are taking the idea of the playoffs seriously, this weekend provides the perfect opportunity to gain some ground with 4th place Maine visiting the War Memorial. Maine is not that good of a hockey team. Johnstown potentially is better than Maine. I think so. I think they're better than the Generals. But they have to put together some kind of consistent performance. They can't beat or lose to anybody. They've lost to Danbury this year. That's bad. Let's see what happens this weekend. I think Johnstown can come out of this series with a pair of wins. They have the ability. They have the talent. Let's see if they can put it all together. Those fans really deserve that. Great fans in Johnstown. Number 24, Bismarck Bobcats. Speaking of great fans, Tommy, those people are nuts. 12-16, 2-1. Lane's Bobcats split the weekend roadie at North Iowa and will host the St. Bulls team this weekend at home. With 5 straight games against Aberdeen coming up on the schedule, the Bobcats need to get max points from this weekend's games. Absolutely. Tough set of games ahead of the Bobcats. Can they come out of this next 7 games with a 4-3 record? If they can, they're still probably playoff bound. I'll never, ever count out Lane's team until the end. That coach really makes those kids work hard. Let's see what happens. But this weekend is very important to get max points and to get them out of North Iowa. They can do it. They can sweep the Bulls. And that's on the agenda for this week. Let's see what happens. I want to see it. Number 25, Philadelphia Rebels. 12-16, 1-1, 433 win percentage. If you were going to tell me earlier in the year when the Rebels looked so bad, they'll be just 4 games under 500 at this point, I would have laughed at you. Justin Hale and the Rebels deflated the Generals bubble with a 7-4 win at home Saturday, sending the brokenhearted home to Boston in tears. Okay, maybe they weren't crying. Maybe it was not all that bad, but the win did send a message to everyone else on the schedule. The Rebels can play. The boys roll to Danbury this week to play the Hatties tomorrow night before the home-and-home with the Titans this weekend. You better beat Danbury tomorrow night. That is a minimum expectation, and give New Jersey everything you got. Philadelphia, if you upset New Jersey this weekend, that'll be a sign you guys are for real. Winning 2 out of the 3 next games you guys play, that would be epic. Number 26, Springfield Blues, 13-17, 0-0. The Blues and coaching staff of Tyler Renee and Todd Pulkaki. How do you say his name? I can't even. I'm blowing every time. Pulkaki. I got to get a lesson on how to say that kid's name. We're swept at home by Fairbanks over the weekend. Springfield travels to Wisconsin to face Janesville in 2 different buildings this weekend. Good set. I don't think the Blues should have announced Tyler Renee's leaving until the end of the season. Now they're kind of a split personality team. They really have 2 head coaches. One is playing for this year. One is hoping for next year. It kind of makes the locker room a little bit divided, a little bit of confusion. And that was evident in their series against Fairbanks. I don't like the makeup of the team right now. It's kind of helter-skelter. The kids are probably not really understanding who the leader is. And it's not a good look. A bad decision by the staff to announce that change early, I think, my opinion. This guy will sue me too, probably, if I don't say my opinion. That owner is nuts. All right, there you go. In my opinion, the owner is nuts. I'm learning this whole opinion thing. I got to start saying that because people take this stuff too seriously. But not the number 27 El Paso Rhinos. 10-17, 2-0, .379 win percentage. Joe Coombs' Rhinos managed a single goal and gave up 11 while getting swept at Shreveport. They had to rush back to El Paso after the game in an effort to be somewhat prepared for New Mexico's visit tomorrow night. With just 2 wins in the last 10 games, the Rhinos are close to joining Corpus Christi and Danbury in the F category. I believe that will be a first ever occurrence for a Joe Coombs coach team. Joe's been around the league for a while, since his days in the Rio Grande Valley. That was what the Rio Grande Valley, they were called something. Oh, Killer Bees, before going to Philadelphia. Or then Aston. It was Aston, then Philadelphia, then Janesville, Jamestown, and now they're in New Jersey. Confusing. Never during all these years can I remember Joe Coombs' team being this so far down the list. It's unusual, but it might have something to do with going through 60-plus players this year. They changed the general manager. The Peon guy, Corey Peon, is gone, or Hehan, or whatever his name is. He's no longer the general manager. Steve Jennings is from afar. I think Steve Jennings can do a better job as a general manager from the moon than that Corey guy can do from El Paso. Let Corey, Hehan, Peon run the Tier 3 team. That's better for him. Definitely not a North American Hockey League general manager. Never should have been named that position in the first place. Completely inexperienced. Treating that team like he was playing NHL 2022. It was ridiculous. 60-plus players before Christmas. That's nuts. Our F teams, Corpus Christi and Danbury. Sylvia and Cloutier and the Ice Rays were manhandled at home by Odessa over the weekend. The bus rolls west to New Mexico, where they face the Ice Wolves this weekend. They will be swept again. I have very little faith in their ability to beat the Ice Wolves in New Mexico. I like Cassidy Lange. I like that program. Corpus Christi should be one of the best programs in the country. Every single year, they have a little bit of a problem with practice ice, but they overcome that all these years for the last, 25 years of Ice Rays hockey, whatever it's been since their days in the Central Hockey League. This problem they're having lately is ridiculous. It should not be happening. But I think the issue has been lack of experience. The player personnel director has been horrendous. These kids aren't the type of players needed to be successful in the South Division. And it doesn't make any sense that they keep going back to the same well over and over again and getting the same results. Nothing against this coach, but this is getting out of hand. Number 29, Danbury hat tricks. Wow. to 26-3-2. The Patrick Steffen era took a breather this past weekend. The good news, Danbury has not lost a game in the last 9 days. Philadelphia visits tomorrow before Maryland is in on the 13th and 14th. If you are a hockey fan in Danbury, good seats are still out there for the NAHL team. You know, Tommy, I think that the folks in Danbury got mad at me saying that the NAHL team can beat their Federal Hockey League team. So they're tanking this thing on purpose. Herm Sorcher and that crew, I don't know what they're doing in Danbury, but it's not good. Maybe this Patrick Steffen guy's a good hire. I don't see his connection to college hockey or to the NAHL at all being there. And Danbury's been a little more than 3 points for everybody else in that division. Prove me wrong. Do something. There's a lot of kids out there, Danbury. Dump those 20-year-olds. Bring some of these good 18 and 19-year-olds in and become a team, unless you don't want to. Pretty good show today, Tommy. 37 minutes on my own with no guest. If Eric was here today, this would be like an hour-and-a-half show. 2 hours, we can't do a 2-hour show. Our fans would not like that. If you get a chance, go look at the heisthockey.com site. We changed it up a little bit. I think you'll like the new format. Very clean, works well on your iPads and your phones devices now. A little cleaner, easier to navigate. Graphics look really good. Thank Tommy for being so smart and making me look good. How do you do that, kid? I'm not a handsome man. And you put makeup on my face? How did you get my face to look that pretty? I am not a pretty guy whatsoever. I have a face for radio. My voice is gone. Speech is done. But here I am. On TV, on YouTube, on all these channels all over the world. Can't believe it. How do you guys put up with this mess? All right. Tomorrow. I'm not sure who we have for a guest yet. Damon Zier has been bothering me from Colorado. He has some insight about the new team in Colorado, the Colorado Grit. Let's bring Damon on tomorrow. His kid plays for the Atlanta Capitals. Should be a good show. Damon, if you're watching it, you're up. Tomorrow we're going to call you today and put you on the spot. See, 9 a.m. here is like 7 o'clock in Colorado. But if Eric Bauer can do it, Zier can do it too. We haven't had anybody with the Z last name on, have we? This is our first Z guy. There you go. A little bit of drama in Colorado between the NCDC team and this new Colorado Grit team. Same owners. Oh, that's going to be interesting. But I can't say NCDC, can I? Oh, I'm in trouble. Here it comes, the phone call from Cole Schatz. You said those letters again today. I must sue you again. All right, go Leafs. No game today. You guys, until tomorrow, we hope that you have an incredible day.